I'm a photography evangelist for Adobe. It's my pleasure to stream live on the Adobe Twitch channel today for the next couple of hours. For those of you watching the replay, of course, it's not live anymore. But I do stream live on a regular basis, usually Tuesdays and Fridays at twitch.tv/Adobe. And of course, the Adobe channel is broadcasting all day, every day, 7 days a week with different artists, different creatives, digital and traditional, doing artwork, doing photography, doing animations, doing all kinds of cool things. So if you are watching a replay, you definitely want to check out the Twitch channel so you can see other artists besides myself and other creatives besides myself doing cool work on Twitch. Today we're going to be talking about your portfolio. And also let me host it on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Terry L. White, just like my Twitter. So I'm going to host this stream on my channel as well. And let's just do a quick analyzer. And all looks good. Yep, always got to do the self-plug. That's the whole point, right? Okay. So far, so good. Everything's looking good as far as the stream. Can you guys hear me okay? In the chat, let me know if you can hear me. Okay, good. Victoria says all good. All good from across the pond. Hey, Ultralight Photography, how's it going? Where are you across the pond? All right, and the stream analyzer checks out good, so it looks like everybody should be able to see this. Cool, got me on the iPad. Awesome. All right. Let me just check one more thing here. Okay. So welcome everyone. I'll do another intro just for all the people that just got here live. And again, if you're watching the replay, thanks for watching the replay. My name is Terry White, worldwide design and photography evangelist for Adobe. It's my pleasure to stream for the next couple of hours here on the Adobe channel. We're going to talk today's topic is about your portfolio. Excuse me, your portfolio. And your portfolio, basically various ways to use Adobe products to show off your work. Since this is the Lightroom and Photoshop or Photoshop and Lightroom CC show, we will definitely talk about more of your portfolio from a photography slant. But even if you're a graphic designer or artist or someone that just has cool things that you want to show off, we'll talk about the ways you can incorporate your artwork or your designs into your portfolio as well. This is also timely as Adobe just officially launched yesterday, a new add-on to Creative Cloud called Adobe Portfolio. When I say add-on, I mean a feature that you can start using as a Creative Cloud member, and it's called Adobe Portfolio. And it really is tied in to your Behance account. And of course, Behance is free to use for anyone. But Portfolio is now that ability to either use your Behance projects or not. You can just upload regular images to incorporate into a professional web portfolio without you having to be a web designer, web developer. And I find that most artists, especially photographers or creatives, aren't necessarily web gurus. So when it comes to a website, you tend to hand that off to someone who's better at it. And that's cool and that's great for the design and getting it up and running. But what I find is that if you don't have an easy way to keep it updated, then, as human nature will always chime in, is that your portfolio will usually be out of date. And the harder something is to update, usually it will be out of date. I can remember back in the days when I first started trying to have an online custom portfolio on my website. And this is back in the days where all the photographers, if you had a portfolio, it was usually Flash based. And there were, and I'm definitely not a Flash developer, not a Flash coder. I'm not even, wasn't even really a Flash user other than just consuming content. And there were companies offering templates where you could basically buy and download a template, and all you had to do was change some of the code and upload your pictures, and it would be, your images would go into that template. And they would be animated, and they would zoom, and they would do all these cool things. And again, I consider myself, even though I'm not a coder, I consider myself intelligent enough to follow instructions and work with the code that I was given, swapping out things here and there. But even though I knew how to do it, it was just so tedious to do that I found my portfolio was always out of date, because I would have to think, oh yeah, that's right, I need to upload these 3 pictures to my portfolio. That means I've got to go in to Lightroom or Photoshop. I got to make all the different sizes, because this template required like 3 different sizes of the images. And then I'd have to upload those manually via FTP. And then I'd have to go edit the XML file for the template and put in the path names to everything. And it was just a nightmare. So, as you would expect, I would only do it when I had to. I would never do it for fun. I would never update my portfolio just at a whim. So it would always be something I would wait till the last minute. It's like, okay, haven't updated the portfolio in 3 months. Probably I should go ahead and update it. Well, of course, those were the old days, and luckily those days are long gone. There are lots of ways to have a portfolio online that don't require all that effort and all that work. And we're going to talk about, we're going to definitely talk about Adobe Portfolio, because that's an option, but that's not the only option that Adobe has. And to be honest with you, I'm happy with the way my portfolio works on my own website, and it's driven through Lightroom and a third-party plugin. Will I switch to Adobe Portfolio? Probably not, or at least not now. Because what I want is Adobe Portfolio to have direct integration with Lightroom. When that happens, then I'll take another look, and maybe I will switch at that point. But for right now, there are certainly lots of options, lots of ways to do it, whether you're using the new Adobe Portfolio as part of your Creative Cloud package, whether you're using Lightroom and a plugin, whether you're using Muse and you're making your own custom website. Lots of ways to do it, or whether you're just uploading things to Behance. So this couldn't be a better time to have a portfolio online. So like I said, for the replay viewers, that was kind of a long introduction. And luckily with replay, you can fast forward through all this. But I will, on occasion, pause, look over at the comments, make sure I'm not missing any questions. And then we'll dive into the content, and I'll show you how this all works. All right, let me pause for questions real quick. And by the way, if that's one of the benefits of being live on the show, is that when you're watching the replay, you can only watch, but when you're live, you can actually jump into the chat and ask questions, and I do answer questions as best I can. All right, so let's go here. So Ultralight Photography is in the UK. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so let's go in and talk about Adobe Portfolio. I didn't really see any questions. I saw someone saying, I don't know, I didn't know what he was talking about. Then that you probably missed the beginning then, but not sure. All right. All right, let's go. So let me switch gears here on the stream so you guys can see my screen. And looks like you should be able to see my screen right now. And what you're looking at, since this is the Photoshop Lightroom CC show, that we're starting off in Lightroom, where I keep my portfolios in Lightroom as collections. And since I use Lightroom to manage all of my photography, no matter what portfolio solution I would use, it would always start here. Because in order for me to put images into any portfolio, I need to be able to get to those images. And of course, I don't want to have to start digging around in folders on my hard drive and trying to figure out which image I want to upload to my portfolio. So I would recommend, no matter what you do, whether it's use Adobe Portfolio, Adobe Muse to create a website, Lightroom, plugins, third-party, 500px, whatever it is you're using to manage online presence, that you do the organization part here in Lightroom. Because this way, you'll be able to visually see what you want to be in your portfolio before you actually put it in your portfolio. So that would be my first recommendation. Collections, of course, are very easy to create. You can drag and drop images into those collections. You can then, of course, move the photos around in the collection and put them in the order. Because not only is it a matter of putting the images that you want to display in a portfolio, but it's also about the order. In other words, you're telling a visual story with your images, and so the order of the images is just as important as the images themselves. For example, this is my travel portfolio. So you see you can recognize some of the locations. Someone said they're in the UK, so there's Big Ben, there's London right there. The cannons are from a castle in London. And then it goes over to Russia, and then it goes over to Malmo and Stockholm and Denmark and India and Amsterdam. Now, other than the images themselves, it wouldn't make a lot of sense to put a picture from New York in one spot and then a picture from Paris next to it and then another picture from New York 5 spots later. Visually, it might look okay. It might look like, okay, he's putting all the towers together or putting all the statues together. And that could work. There is no law. There is no 100% you must follow this rule. But when it comes to this particular portfolio where I'm talking about travel, I like to keep the locations together. So in other words, all the pictures from the same place are together. But again, if you want to put all the bridges together, like all the bridges from different places in one spot, that's fine. So on the left-hand side, I've got all my various portfolios, and I've got them in a collection set called TWP for Terry White Photography. And I also even have a collection called Production Shot Favorites. Because when I look at that particular collection, it's based on behind the scenes. Because a lot of people want to not only see the work that you're doing, they want to see how you're doing it. That's what one of the big reasons people come and watch us on Twitch is because we always post the finished work, the finished photo, the finished video, the finished design. But people often want to see what was the process in creating that work. So from a photographer standpoint, it's either a behind the scenes photo or behind the scenes video. So my production shots are in there. I've got, of course, I'm a portrait shooter and a fashion shooter as well. So I've got a fashion portfolio, and I've got these various portfolios as collections in Lightroom so that now my images are organized. And now when I go to put them on the web, however I do it, I can start here to get those images to upload to the web. All right, whenever I see scrolling on the chat, I want to see if I'm missing anything. Now we do have moderators here. If you're looking at the behind the scenes, I'm sorry, if you're looking at the replay, you can see that I don't have to answer every single question because the moderators are doing a good job too. All right, well, thanks Shaney Boy HD for liking my Getting Started video on YouTube. And looks like I haven't missed any other questions that the moderators haven't already addressed. Hang on, one more here. Okay, so someone's asking, do I do all my works in straight digital format or do I use film? And my response to that is, what's film? All right, isn't that what's on your teeth sometimes? No, okay, all jokes aside. Um, I didn't really get into photography until digital, although I've shot film before. I didn't really get into video until digital editing came out, even though I've used videotape before. So a lot of things that I dabbled in when it came to the traditional methods of doing it, I didn't really get interested in it until digital came around. So all of this is digital. I can't imagine going back to the film days or going back to the traditional ways of doing things. So yeah, I'm a digital person. All right. All right, so that answers that. And yes, all digital. Couldn't imagine it any other way. Digital is way more fun, in my opinion. Okay, let's now talk about Adobe Portfolio. So let's get over to the site and let me show you how it works. First of all, Adobe Portfolio is part of Creative Cloud. Not something you have to pay extra for, not something you have to do anything extra to use. It's built in, it's part of Creative Cloud, and it's a feature to Creative Cloud members from the photography plan at $9.99 a month all the way up to whatever plan you're on. So you already have access to it if you're a Creative Cloud member. One of the fastest ways to get to it is if you go to adobe.com, and this is what I like to tell people, is that you have your own dashboard in adobe.com. When you sign in, so I'm signed in, that's why it says Terry right here. If I wasn't signed in, it would just say sign in. And when I click on my name, it brings up my dashboard. And whenever there's a new thing in Creative Cloud, this is where I always go to find it first because I know it's always going to be here. I don't have to think about what URL do I use to get to that new thing. And sure enough, all the stuff here to get to your apps, Document Cloud, Assets, Libraries, Photos, Lightroom, all that Lightroom on the web is all here, including the new Portfolio website. So without even thinking where it might be, I knew it would be here. All right, so if I click on Portfolio website, that will take me to the home page for Adobe Portfolio. And we'll go through, since we have time on this stream, we'll go through what it's about, how to get started, and we'll actually start building one. Now, I do want to make sure that it's perfectly clear that you know that if you've never used Portfolio before, obviously you can start fresh. Most people have never used it before because it just came out. But if you've already been spending time building projects on Behance, those projects can be used as your portfolio as well. So I know a lot of people have been just making their portfolios on Behance. So, and Behance had for Creative Cloud members and paid members before we acquired Behance, they had a product that allowed you to do similar things, build a website with your projects. And I can't even think of the old name of it. If someone knows in the chat, they'll tell me. But anyway, this evolved from that paid thing to Portfolio. So now Adobe Portfolio is here. And whether you have a Behance account with projects in it or not, you can use it. So the intro, beautifully simple, showcasing your creativity, easy with Portfolio. So right now it's offering me the ability to edit my portfolio. It's showing me that my portfolio is responsive. So it looks great on a desktop, looks great on a tablet, looks great on a phone, or basically any size screen. Build your website in minutes with Portfolio. And then, so that's the intro. Let's click on the features. Editing your portfolio is easy, so it's all web-based. You do it all from the web. You have access to Typekit library of fonts, so you can choose the fonts you want to use in your site. Live editing, you see your changes as you make them. Direct access, anything you can see, you can edit. And that's what we mean by direct access is if you don't like the way your name looks on your portfolio, then you click right on your name to make changes to it. If you don't like the way an icon looks on a certain spot of the page, you click right on that to make changes to it. So whenever you see direct access, that's what it means. Preview your website responsively on desktop, tablet, mobile. Create projects on Portfolio or on Behance. Now, this was the one that I made the mistake when I first started playing with Portfolio, because I think it gave me the option. Hey, do you want to bring your projects over from Behance? I said, sure. And it brought them all over. And I have dozens of projects on Behance that should not be in my portfolio. So I had to spend the first 10 minutes this morning getting ready for this, clearing that all out, saying no, 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 no. I just turned off all the projects because I didn't know what I was doing when I first tried this. My Behance is to show you what I've done. My portfolio is to show you the best of what I've done. I don't want every project I've done in my portfolio because they aren't portfolio worthy. Just like I don't want every photo that I've ever taken in my portfolio because they aren't portfolio worthy. Only the best of the best should be in your portfolio. So I made that mistake. We won't make that mistake again today. But it can sync projects from Behance into Portfolio. Option to right-click, protect your images, lightbox, so forth and so on. Okay, so there are various layout templates to choose from. So you can start with the template you like best, and whatever, just like any other template in any other Adobe product, you might say, well, there's only a few. I don't like those. Well, keep in mind that all of this is just they should be called starter templates. Because if you start with one and say, well, I kind of like this one. I like the big images, but I don't like that font. I don't like this color. I don't like the way the type looks there. Then you would go change all those things. So you start with the one that's kind of the way you like it to look, but maybe it's not perfect. Maybe it's not everything you want. And then you would just go in and edit it to your heart's content. So keep that in mind. That's what these templates are all about. So Thomas is a mosaic view. I kind of like that. Mercedes, again, I kind of like this from a photography standpoint, where it would be gallery, 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 and I would go in, of course, and customize all that. So I kind of like Mercedes, probably best for photography. I like Lena, because the images are big. So usually when photography, you want something to be full screen. You want it to be big. So I could really pick and choose any one of these. I'm not so much a fan of this one. So it'll probably be between Lena and Mercedes as to which ones I like best. And since I like imagery to look big on screen, I'll probably start with Lena. So notice it says switch to the default layout because I've already started, or switch to your customized version. So I'm going to start with the default layout. Or, I like this too, view a live example. Let's do that first. So view a live example takes me to a sample of this page. And I can hover over it and it shows it to me. I can click. Gives the photographer a nice ability to title this, put in whatever description they want, scroll through, click on an image, go left to right to navigate the images, and let's see if the responsive works here. And the responsive works here as well. So that's another cool aspect, is that I can test out anything before I even choose it to see if this is really what I'm going to like. Let's see what his about page looks like, or her about page looks like. It's a her. Okay, cool. Work with me. And again, all of this text obviously would be customizable. And the blog is a link to her blog. So that's an external link to their direct website. All right, and again, back to the portfolio. So again, looks very clean, very modern, very, and clean is the key word there, very unobtrusive, not a lot of things in the way, very, very nice, again, that it's responsive for mobile sites. As soon as I went down to the mobile version, it gave me the mobile menu. So without having to know about how to do any of that, I can go ahead and build that right now inside Adobe Portfolio. All right, saw some scrolling. Let me look real quick. All right, so someone just asked, so it's powered by Adobe Muse online editing? No, it's not powered by Adobe Muse at all. This is totally separate from Muse. Muse is a product to build custom websites, and it has an online editing component for those sites. This is not that. Okay, I think I got the questions I had in regards to this answered. Work's ringing. Have to go now. Thanks for the live stream. You can always catch the replay, but thanks for popping in. Okay, so what I want to do, I kind of like that layout, so I'm going to switch to the default layout for that. Yes, restore, because I didn't really do anything that I care about. So now it starts off to that default project. Or that default layout. So right here, my name's there. Let me click on, again, this is what I mean by direct access. So if I want to change any of this, I click into the editor for that. And now I can go in, hang on for a minute. What I want to do here, I want to go in. There we go, customize. There we go, that's what I was looking for. And now I can go in if I wanted to change my name, which I don't. If I want to change the font that it's in, I can. The size, the color, the style, anything I want to change about it. You also saw there was a brief option there to substitute it for a logo. So I can put my logo there instead. But I can go to image, upload an image right here, make it or have a rollover for that image. Totally customizable as far as margins and everything else for this. So for example, maybe I don't like the Futura font, so I can scroll around and see if I like a different font better. In this particular case, looks like I don't get to use Typekit fonts. Not sure, but let's go ahead and change to Nimbus. I like Nimbus better. And any color on the color wheel that I want, I have access to. And recently used colors. We'll keep it on the black for now. All right, bold, light. So that would be the light version of it. And this is what they mean by we can see it in real time, what it looks like. I don't know, bold probably looks best. And we'll say done. Now again, if I go back to that and customize it one more time. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing. I want to go back to this. I just want to see what would happen. So this is more of an experiment because I haven't worked on this on the header before. I want to upload an image. And let's see, go to documents, Terry White photography, and somewhere down here is my logo. Let's upload my logo. All right, there's my logo. I see it back there. And I want to set the max width to, let's try 100 pixels. No, that's too small. About 200 pixels. 200 pixels might be best. Or maybe 150. Still a little smaller. Alright, So I've replaced that default text with my actual logo, just that easily. Let me see what the rollover looks like. Oh, it can even have a rollover image. So when people roll over that logo, I can have a different version of it. So let's go ahead and say done. All right. So I got the header customized. Now let's go ahead and, hey Rufus, what's going on? So let's add our first project. So this is what I meant by you can't, and let me cancel out of this for a second. If I want to bring over something that's already on Behance, that would be very easy. I could just sync it. So if I go manage content, it shows me all my Behance projects. This is what I had to go in and turn off earlier, by the way. So for example, I had already uploaded like my iPhone photography to Behance as a portfolio. So if I just turn that on, there it is. I don't have to worry about going out and getting all those images again. And if I wanted to preview this, it says iPhone photography from 2013. I can click on it. It shows me the various pictures that were shot with my iPhone. So that's what I meant by, if you've already been doing the work of getting your images onto Behance in various projects or collections, that work's already done. You just bring them over to your portfolio. And it, again, adapts that to a nice responsive design. But here's the caveat to doing it that way. When I upload it to Behance, look, this image does not look good big. Because when I uploaded this project to Behance, I never thought it would be displayed this large. So I didn't upload a resolution that was conducive to a screen this or display this large. So Behance or Portfolio is showing it as best as it can because that's all it has. And that image or these images from my iPhone photography, I haven't updated. It said 2013. I probably haven't updated them since 2013. So that's why I didn't really want all of those old projects from Behance onto my new portfolio. Now, if you've been diligent about keeping your Behance up to date, no problem. You've got it. Just go ahead and bring them in. And the size of the image is only an issue on this template because this template makes the images so big. On other templates where the images are smaller, not a big deal, not a concern. Probably would work fine. And I would go in, for example, edit this. Oops, hang on. Edit this. Edit the cover image, edit the info, edit the project content. So I could say instead of iPhone photography and that date, I can call this iPhone, for example, portfolio. So even though it came from Behance, you can make your edits here as well. And it, I believe it syncs it back to the Behance work or project as well. That's the word I was looking for. Okay, so that's one way to get the content over. But again, in my case, that's not what I want. That's why I went and turned them all off. So let's go ahead and turn that one back off. I don't want that project over here. Instead, I want to start fresh and create projects that are specific to my portfolio. So I want to create a new project, and we're going to call this Travel Portfolio. Create project. Loading the editor. And projects explained. Projects now appear in your galleries. You'll also be given the option to have them sync to your creative profile on Behance, the world's largest platform. Great, continue. And right now, it lets me add the media in. So I can either upload files, which means going to those folders where you're keeping your stuff if you're not using Lightroom, open them all up in Photoshop and exporting them out and making JPEGs and then uploading them here. Or add media by uploading files, embedding media like YouTube videos, add text, Lightroom Mobile, or Creative Cloud. Where do I keep all my collections? In Lightroom. So this is tied to Lightroom from a standpoint of whatever you've synced to Lightroom Mobile, it should have access to it. And now it's showing it to me. So if I scroll and find my travel portfolio, there it is. And I can say, it lets me select the photos. Oops, sorry. Selected photos, sorry about that. I read that wrong. Let's go to travel. There we go. And I can bring them all over now. A select all would be nice. If the portfolio team's listening. Because I do want all of these since they are in my portfolio. Now, obviously, the arrangement is off. It looks like it's sorting this by date. Oh, wait, hold on. 26 photos. It might have a limit. Oh, let me unselect some of these. I know the old Behance, the old Behance limit was 20 at a time. So it looks like they kept that. So 20, let's go. I stopped at Denmark. Let's go ahead and import those. And here they all come. Again, we'll worry about order in a minute, but let's go back to Lightroom. And let's go back down to that collection. And let's start from Denmark. And we'll grab the rest. It's not that many more. All right, import. And here come the rest. Okay, so now we've got the content in. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. And now it wants to use, it wants to know what do I want to use for the project cover. In other words, which image is going to be that thumbnail that people see when they are looking at my various portfolios. I can use any image I want. Let me see what might be a better one. Maybe this one. I want to zoom that down maybe. Probably would be a better idea. And we'll choose that one. Crop and continue. So that becomes the cover. And now I can go in and start putting in all the data for that particular collection. So I've all right, put in whatever you want. I can put in some tags, and this is more for Behance if you're going to sync it back to Behance, but let's do photography, travel, world, view, so forth and so on. I don't need any custom fields. I don't really need a project date. I should probably select a creative field, which is going to conflict. Yep. All right. Cool. Next. Also publish this to your Behance profile, and this is the thing I don't want. And again, if you're keeping your in other words, your Behance as your source, then do it all on Behance and sync it back to Portfolio. If you're going to use Portfolio as your source, you can sync this, any of your portfolios, back to Behance. In my case, I actually kind of want to keep them separate. I want Behance to be, hey, here are the designs, photography, photo shoots I've been doing. Here's my portfolio. And I don't really want it, I don't want it synced. You can, but in this case, I don't want it. So I'm going to say don't sync it. Create the project. And it'll create it. Then we'll edit it a little bit and design it the way we want. Okay. So return home. And now we're back to the editor for this, where I can go in and edit it any way I want now. So for example, I want to edit this section. Hang on, I want to see something real quick. Yeah. I want to edit this section. Edit project content. And I'm just hoping I can make this. One thing about these large images is that they're large. And there should be a insert media. There should be a sorter. Reorder. There it is. All right. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so the reorder lets me then put them in the order I want without the giant images. This is much, much better. So for that, I kind of need to cheat. I need to go back to Lightroom and see what order I had them in. So let's go back to that travel portfolio. So that one was first, and the other one from Paris was next. So just go ahead and move that up. And luckily, this is a one-time thing, and hopefully in the future, we can get a tighter integration with Lightroom to kind of bring it over in the order that it was in. Then next we did Egypt. And if you're just joining the live stream, we're taking a look at Adobe Portfolio, which is now a new option or a new feature for Creative Cloud members at no additional cost, of course. Big Ben, and then the Canons. What was after the Canons? Malmo. Oh, no, the Canons were next. Then this. And of course, it doesn't have to be the exact same order. If I wanted to change the order here, I could. Only I would know. There we go. What's after the Malmo? Statues in the boat. This is Denmark. And what's next? Denmark and Bangalore. And still Bangalore. And then it goes to Amsterdam. And then after Amsterdam's New York City. Bridge, Freedom Tower, Statue of Liberty, and then San Francisco. And probably more San Francisco, I'm guessing. Which one though? The church, the bridge, the sky. The church. Oops. Didn't go high enough. The bridge, the sky, and then after that is Australia, Hayman Island. And then after Hayman Island, oh, now see, I have this auto order. Well, that should actually, technically, those should go next to each other. So let's make that change here. Let's make it here while we're doing it, because technically these are from the same part of the world. And I'll go back and fix that here as well. All right, then we go here. And then the bike. And then South Africa. And more South Africa. And then some more. Technically, this should be moved because, all right, I'm changing the order again because technically this church is in Denmark. Let's go fix it over here as well. All right. And what was next? So we got that. We got the bike. Did I do that right? All right, there we go. Then it's Detroit. And more Detroit. And the ATL. Save new order. All right, and that's it. Update project. Return home. Now, one thing you'll notice right off the bat is look at the quality of these images. Look how much better they look. You know why they look better than the synced project coming from Behance? Because the synced project coming from Behance was originally uploaded at the small Behance size. I didn't upload it any bigger than I needed it to be. But since these synced from Lightroom Mobile, from a Smart Preview is 2048 pixels on the longest dimension. And therefore, this brought over as big as it needed to for this size display. Now what I want to do is preview this again. So that shows me the portfolio, nice and large, with all the big, nice, large images that look great at a large size. Again, if someone doesn't want to scroll, they can click on any image, or not, maybe not in the preview. You can also, ooh, this is cool, you can preview it at different sizes here. So I can say preview it, show me what it would look like on a tablet, show me what it would look like on a tablet wide, show me what it would look like on a phone, show me what it would look like on a phone wide. Very cool to be able to do that in the preview as well. And again, it's still responsive, so even if you just want to pull it over and have it do it that way, that works too. All right, back to the edit. So that would be how you would start working on your portfolio. So let's go ahead and update the live site. Since my portfolio does exist out there, I can say view the portfolio. That will open it up in a different window. And it uses the URL twhite.myportfolio.com, which of course you can get customized as well. So my travel portfolio, using that image that I told it to use, I can click on it. It shows me the bigger images, and I can scroll through. And of course, right now, I have a portfolio online with just one thing in it, but there it is. There's my travel photography, and if I go back home, it shows me my projects. Now I don't like the word projects. Let's go fix that. So I click here, customize, and see if I can change that. Gallery titles. No, I want to change what it says, not the way it looks. Can I customize that? Maybe. Navigation container, styles, links, social icons, margins. No, I'm trying to actually get to the text, not the way it looks. I want to manage the content. Oh, maybe I can't change that word. I thought I should be able to. Maybe not. Unless I'm missing it here. Page titles, gallery titles. Margins. Don't want to edit that. Oh, same thing. Okay. Unless I'm missing it, maybe I can't change. I can change what it looks like. I just can't change what it says. It would be a bummer if that's true. All right, let's go ahead and pause for questions real quick, because I know a lot of people are just getting here and they're asking questions, and let's see if the moderators have it all handled. So someone said that Denmark photo you just put in didn't fit the template exactly. It was smaller. Should it have been located? Should it have been located to the borders for a tighter fit? I'd have to go back and look at it to see what you're talking about, but everything so far looked okay to me. And of course, I could always go in and recrop or re-edit a particular image to make it look better. What website is this? I think they already answered it. It's Adobe Portfolio, which is a new feature for Creative Cloud members. Okay, so question, what he's really asking is, what's the suggested dimensions for Adobe Portfolio? I don't know. I actually don't know what they're suggesting right now. I'd have to look it up because Portfolio literally just came out. So I haven't gone in that deep to see if you're uploading images manually, what size it recommends they be. I would also probably say it's going to depend on which template you use as well. For example, this template uses the largest images, so therefore I would need the larger sizes. Templates that don't use larger images probably don't need those larger sizes. In any case, let's say you just stick to all large sizes. Or Squarespace said 1500 pixels. Let's say I did 2048 for everything. In any case, it's going to scale it down anyway. So I would say in a case where it's an online portfolio like this, and you're feeding it into a system that's going to adjust the image size, larger is always better because it'll scale down. But what you don't want it to do is what it was doing from the Behance projects is scale up, because then the images just look bad. Yep, if you're on the $10 photography plan, you get this too. Okay, so moving along. Now from here, it's just continuing to build it out. So if I wanted to add in more content, add in the next one. I can add in another project, and we already saw what a project looks like. Let's keep going. Let's say that I wanted to add in another page. So I'm going to say About Me. Create page. Pages explain. Pages allow you to create, for example, an About page, a post or article perhaps. It's up to you. Unlike project pages, don't appear in your galleries. So again, you're now creating a page that is specific to your site. So I can upload any content that I want, add any text that I want, so forth and so on. So for example, I'm going to go in and add text. Enter your text here. And let's say, this is all about me. All right, that's it. Update page. Back to home. I just want to see what it looks like. And there it is, About Me and my projects. So of course now I can go in and continue editing this. It gave me the option if I wanted to upload, let's say, a photo of myself or a photo of me working. I could have done that as well. So if I go into the edit page content, it takes me back to the editor. I can go back to Lightroom, for example, and we'll grab one photo. As a matter of fact, I know where I'm going to get that photo from. We're going to grab a production shot. So I can, for example, use this shot that I want, import it in, and it will pull in that nice production shot that I can use. So I'm done. Update the page. Back home. And this would be your All About You. So let's say I want an external, another external link. Now, this is, so far we built a project, we built a page. This is all being built in Adobe Portfolio. But I have an existing blog. I have an existing, actually, photography website. I have all kinds of existing links. So I want to add an existing link to an external page. So I can say, for example, the name of this link is my blog. And then it's going to be terrywhite.com. Add link. So now my blog's there. And it looks like it's doing these in alphabetical order, by the way. So update the live site. View my portfolio. And so if I click on that, it's going to open up a new tab that takes you right to my blog. If I go back to the site and I go to About Me, it takes you to the About Me page, where of course I'd put in a lot more text there. But you can see back and forth, you can have your site built fairly quickly with Adobe Portfolio. All right, let's go back to the builder. And you can have more than one external link. So I can say add content, another external link, more of my photography. And now that one's there as well. All right. Yes, Jan, you can. Star Crunch is saying, how are you today? If you're talking to me, I'm doing great. Okay, looks like I got caught up. I don't see any burning questions that haven't been addressed. And moving along. So, just in a quick recap for those of you who are just joining, and replay users have been watching, or replay viewers have been watching all along. We're talking about Adobe Portfolio, and this is one of the many ways of putting your putting together a website online using a web editor that's now part of Adobe Creative Cloud. So I was able to go in, start pretty much from scratch, pick a template, choose which project files I wanted to create, for example, for a portfolio. I was able to grab those images from Lightroom Mobile, which is awesome. I was able to create external links to my blog and my other photography website or any other external links I want. And I'm able to go in and customize the look and feel of the site as well. So if, for example, if I don't like the way this looks, I can go in and customize it. And this is the header. And this would be for the title. So right now, here, let's move this out of the way. This is using the Nimbus font. If I wanted to go back to Futura, I could. If I wanted to go in and choose any of these other fonts, I could. And I can also choose the style of it. I like light, actually. And I can also drop down the size. It's 60 points, which is kind of large. Just drop it down to 50. Done. At any given time, for example, I can go back to my regular photography site. I can go to my About Me. I can grab my text. Or maybe I can't. Oh, I may have made this non-selectable. But anyway, I would grab that text and copy and paste it, but we'll go back to this. We'll do it the hard way. And let's edit this. Edit page content. Edit info. Oh, what's info? Okay, that would be the About Me. The About Me. Got it. All right, let's add this. Page content. There. And I would just keep going. Easier to just go ahead and paste that in if you've already got it written, but you got the idea. Update page. Back home. All right. What if you change your mind? What if you want to do something else? What if you decide you want something different? Well, if we go here to switch layouts, you can go back to the choices of layouts. And remember, I started with Lina, and I was kind of torn between Lina and Mercedes. Well, what if I say use this layout instead? It just uses it. So if you ever wanted to change the look and feel of your site at any given time, you could. You can just update, either customizing the way it looks or just updating by choosing a different layout. So even if new layouts are added along the way, which I imagine they will be for Portfolio, if I like a new layout that just comes out, I don't have to start over and redesign everything from scratch. I can switch layouts and just have a new look to my portfolio along the way. Let's see something here. Customize. Background. Upload an image. No, I don't want to upload an image. I want to go to my options here. Just playing around with the different header options here. So that would be best probably for a background image. Anyway, I was just curious as to what that would do for me. Yeah, same thing here. I don't need dates. I do like descriptions. I don't need the creative fields. I do want the titles. Everything else looks good. Done. All right. Let's change this. social profiles are on. I want my Twitter. I want my Behance. I want my Facebook. I want my Instagram. I guess I would need to put these in. That would help. All right, let's go back. Twitter. There we go. And Behance. I don't know. I'd have to copy it. Definitely want my YouTube. Right, so the social profiles are in. And there was one more thing I wanted to try here. Well, that kind of is a bummer. You may have to do these one by one. No, say it isn't so. Oh, I see. Each one's different. Got it. It's a different category of link. And you've got these. Yeah, okay, I see. It's not one by one, but it's just category by category. Got it. And now I don't like it again. This is probably giving you options to customize things. You tend to want to customize things. Alright, let's go manage some web fonts instead. Now this is the Typekit integration where I can go in and choose Typekit fonts to work with. Actually, I want to choose sensor. Okay, great. I want to use this one perhaps. That's better. Just making them all consistent. And let's look at our social profiles. We've got those in. Social icon style. Icon only. Circles. Icon color. Those are better. And centered's good. Background color. Maybe something like that. And icon opacity. Ooh, okay, opacity, cool. Nah, I don't like the background color. No, I didn't really want to go there. I wanted to edit it. Let's just go back to a gray, but a lighter gray. That's better. Okay, sorry I got lost in customizations. But as you can see, you can really get in and tweak and play around with different settings to make this Adobe Portfolio yours. All right, I'm going to move on to a different method for creating your portfolios, also getting your portfolios on mobile. Obviously, the site's mobile friendly, but we're going to talk about another way to do it. So let me check for questions real quick. What's the type font of your logo? To be honest, I'd have to look because I didn't design the logo. I'd have to go look it up again. I don't remember. Let me go back and check one thing here. Let's go put the logo back in. Yeah, a designer friend of mine did my logo for me, so I'd have to actually find out what he used. All right, I think we got it. So guys, and of course now I can say update the live site. That will update it and publish it using this template instead. So now if we go view my portfolio, it looks just like it did in the editor, as I would expect. It is responsive, and I can go in and drill down on the actual portfolio itself. The images still look great, nice and big. And again, all of this is responsive as well. And let me go see the Denmark image that someone was talking about earlier. These are the images from Denmark. They fit fine. I did not see an issue earlier, so weren't sure what you were referring to. Let's go back and check one more thing before we leave Adobe Portfolio. Let's go into Edit Settings. This is the projects page. Got it. Okay. So the landing page is where people will land when they go to your URL, or basically your home page. You can have it land on projects, which would be most likely the default, but you can have it land on a particular portfolio or area that you want to, or area of interest that you want people to be directed to. You can put in your Google Analytics code for tracking. You can customize the name of your portfolio. Let's see if Terry White's taken, probably, because I think I used it already. Oh, it was set. Okay, so cool. I got terrywhite.myportfolio.com. Or you can set up a custom domain name as long as you do your DNS records correctly. So we don't sell the domain name. You can go buy your domain name wherever you like to buy domain names. And you can then put in this information for your DNS entries so that it points to your specific site. Search optimization, so you can put in your metadata tags to make your site more searchable. You can even upload your favorite icon or favicon at 16 by 16 pixels, so that the tab, instead of the PF sign, it would be, or nothing, it would be your icon up there as well. Web clip icon, this is kind of cool too. You can even upload that. So what this is for, like I don't know if it's on Android as well, but at least on iOS, when you go to a web page in Safari and you save that page to your home screen, it puts an icon of the page on it. You can specify what that icon looks like just by uploading it here. Let's go to more site options. You can enable Lightbox. Enable Lightbox on my project images. Enable Lightbox on images on my pages. Disable right click so people just can't easily download your images. Enable extended character support for typekit fonts. Now what the Lightbox is for is, if you've ever noticed a site where you clicked on an image, the image comes up, everything else on the page darkens, that's called a Lightbox. So you can enable that on your project images or for your images on your pages. Password protection, very cool to be able to have this. So you can password protect the entire website, so people just can't get in without a password. Or you can password protect specific galleries to keep them private. So for example, if I'm using or if I have a particular gallery or project that I want to add, but it's not done yet, or it's not for general consumption, I could password protect that particular gallery or that particular project. Your unpublished portfolio, so if you unpublish it for any reason, or if you haven't published it yet, you can put in whatever message you want. And then your account information. So lots of options in the new portfolio, and I encourage you all to go check it out and build yours today. I think you'll have a lot of fun with it, and the Lightroom integration for photographers makes it a lot easier than it was before to at least get the images over. Of course, what I'd love to see going forward is an actual, say, a sync to a collection. In other words, once I get it all set up, sync to this collection, so if I ever go update that collection in Lightroom Mobile, it automatically updates my portfolio. That would be my dream. But for right now, just getting the images over in the first place, a whole lot easier than going into Lightroom, finding the images, exporting them out, having to pick the right size, and then manually uploading them. And then if you need to make a change, you need to go do it all over again. It's a lot easier just to say, hey, I want to add a project. We'll make it a shorter one this time. This is going to be my fashion portfolio. Create project. Find files to upload. No. I don't want to do it that way though. I want to do it from Lightroom, and it brings up Lightroom Mobile right in the browser, and I can go to my fashion portfolio, and I can say I want this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Import, and it brings them all in, and they look awesome because they're bringing them in from the high-res versions of those smart previews. So great to be able to have this ability right here in, let's hit continue, in Adobe Portfolio. Let's grab this one maybe, scale it down, move it over, crop and continue. And of course give it a description, all of those good things. No. All right, next. Oh, I gotta pick something. Okay, fashion, there we go. And next. And no, I don't want it to sync. Create project. Don't want to sync to Behance. Return home. And return home. And there it is. So, update live site. And I've just updated the site that easily. Now the question is going to become, for especially if you start using this as a photographer or as a designer, how easy is it to update going forward? So once let's say I want to add in another picture to the fashion portfolio. So we'll go here, we'll edit page project content. We'll go right back to the same content picker choices. right back to the same choices in Lightroom where I've already updated it in Lightroom on my desktop. And we'll go to fashion, and we'll just scroll around and pick a different image. We'll pick this one. Import. That image is now in there. If I wanted to change the order, I can reorder, and I can say, hey, that's my new image. Move it up here, move this one down, and save new order. So, as I mentioned earlier, oh no, return a project, update project. As I mentioned earlier, the whole thing about having an online portfolio is how current is it? How up to date is it? How easy is it to update? Because if it's hard to update, human nature dictates that we probably won't do it very often. This is very easy to update, very easy to keep going. So I, again, encourage you guys to check it out. Now, again, I'm going to show you a couple more options. We've got time. We've got about another 39 minutes left in this stream. Portfolio, part of Creative Cloud, take it away, use it, love it. But yet, it's still not the one I use, and I'll explain why. This is the closest we've come to my ideal photography portfolio. We're almost there. And I love it. I love how easy it is, how fast it is, how it just works. But and I shouldn't say it that way. I was going to say but the one thing that I love about the way I'm doing mine now is that I don't have to think about the updates as often because I'm using Lightroom to drive the whole thing. However, since this does tie into Lightroom, it is a lot easier than it would have been back in the day. So I could be convinced to switch to this since most of my portfolios don't update that often. But let me show you what I'm doing now, and then you can make your own decisions of which way is better for you. So let's go back to Lightroom. And again, it all starts with a collection. So it all starts with what I want to do for each portfolio. Once I have those collections set up, if we go to my website, let's go here, and we go to galleries, or actually let's go home first. Let's talk about this website in general. The front end and the about page and the contact page, this entire framework was built with Adobe Muse. So that's a background slideshow running. I put in my own custom social media icons. I put in my social media shares on Facebook and my follow me on Twitter. This is all very easy to do in Muse. So in Muse, think of it as, while Portfolio gives me a nice, easy template to work in, and I can make some customization changes, Muse lets me do anything I want because it's a blank page. You design this to look any way you want it to look, using whatever you want, whenever you want, pretty much without any limits on the style and design. So if you're that person where you want it completely customized, then you can do it here. Now, you could also integrate the two. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Maybe you want to use Portfolio just for the galleries, and then you want to use Muse for everything else. That's an option as well. So if I go to my galleries page shows my different portfolios, and these are all driven by Lightroom. So if I go to my travel portfolio, it's going to be slightly out of date because we made a couple changes. We arranged the pictures differently. We moved this one up to the Denmark area, which is up here. So, and I think I moved another one. So right now, my web version's out of date because I made some changes. If I wanted to go back and fix that now, all I'd have to do is go back to Lightroom, go down, scroll down to where I've got this third-party plugin, which is right here. here, travel, there it is. And then I would just hit the publish button. Notice it says updating published collections. So we'll give it a second to do that. And what it's doing right now is it's doing all the work behind the scenes to actually update my website. So it's just about done. All right, it's done. Now if I head back to my website and refresh the page, and keep in mind that church was down here next to the leopard. And it still is. Hold on, let me try one more thing here. I know what I didn't do. Let me just tell it to republish. I didn't really make any image changes. I just made an organizational change. Oh, Oh, you know why? Because I didn't change it here either. That collection in the travel collection up here is different than this collection. So that's why I didn't update. I didn't move it. All right, let's move it here too. So this one should go not there. It should go here. That's why it's different. And this Australia one should go up where Australia is, which is right there. All right, so now I got to tell it to update. Let's see if it'll do it. All right, now let's go refresh the page. And it did. So it moved the church up to Denmark, and it moved the Australia image next to Australia. That's what I love about doing it from Lightroom, is that I click one button and I don't have to go through 3 steps to update my portfolio. I just update the collection and hit publish, and it updates my website as well. Now, how's that working? In order for this to work, it does require me to kind of keep 2 collections going on. I have these collections, which are regular Lightroom collections, nothing special about them. And these collections are synced to Lightroom Mobile, and I use these collections for everything else except my website. Then I've got those same collections manually duplicated down here under a plugin called TTG CE4, and that stands for the Turning Gate CE4 publisher. And so that travel portfolio is the exact same collection, but just manually updated. So I have to remember when I add a photo to that collection, also add it here. If I change the order in that collection, also remember to do it here, if I want my website updated. Because sometimes I don't necessarily want every single photo I put in those collections to be on the website. So I think of this set of collections as this represents my website. The collections above are for everything else, and I'll talk about the everything else in a minute. All right, so now that I've got this collection updated, if I delete a photo from it and hit publish, it deletes it from the website. If I add a new photo and hit publish, it adds it to the website. So it's constantly keeping the website in check without me having to do anything else than click one button. How does this all work? How do you get this set up? Well, this does cost money. This is a third-party plugin that you would buy for Lightroom to enable you to do this. So this page is built with their plugin. Each gallery is built with their plugin, and all I did in Muse was link to this page that it built. And this is all on the same website. So if we go to the turninggate.net, it's been a while since I've been here, so I don't know what their site change looks like. But let's go to our products. It's called the CE4 Publishing Suite, but this is CE4 Publisher. So this is the plugin that I bought to use with Lightroom so that I could publish to my website from Lightroom. And all it would take for me to switch in a heartbeat over to Portfolio is for Portfolio to have the same kind of one-click or syncing capability, so that when I update that Lightroom collection, it automatically updates my portfolio. I can update my portfolio pretty quickly from Lightroom, but not as easily as a one-button press. All right. What are the other collections for? So if I'm using these collections to drive the website, what are these for? These are, like I said, for everything else. Because while my website is great to be able to say, hey, go check out my work on the web and give them a business card or whatever, a lot of times I'm talking to clients or prospective clients, if I ever do photography as a business, I'm talking to prospective clients or whoever, or just other photographers, and I want to show them my work. Well, I've got my smartphone, I've got my iPad, I've got all these different devices with me. Chances are I'm not going to go to the web and do it. I actually want to show it to them live. I want to be able to give it to them and have them swipe through the photos. That's where Lightroom Mobile comes in. So for example, all of those collections you'll notice have the little check boxes next to them. Those little check boxes are for when you want something to sync to Lightroom Mobile. So these are all synced. If I make any changes to those collections, reorder the images, add a new image, delete an image, edit an image, those changes get reflected in Lightroom Mobile. So, for example, just going to plug in a cable here. Hang on, I'm getting an alert on my Twitch computer. There we go. And let's fire this up. Actually, let's do it from the phone. Phone's even a more real-world example. And let's fire up QuickTime here. And let's do a new movie recording, and not of me. Switch to the phone instead. And now we're showing my iPhone. Okay, so here's my iPhone. And all I did on my iPhone was I went to my apps, and I've got an Adobe folder. And in my Adobe folder, I've got the Lightroom app. So the Lightroom app's available on iOS and Android. It's phone and tablet. So it works on my iPad just as easily. So when I go to the Lightroom app, it's got the same sync collections. So if we go to travel, I see the same adjustments have been made here. And what I want to do is I want to sort this though, but not by capture time, but by custom order. So now you'll notice that that church image is already up in the Denmark area. The Australia image is already next to Hayman Island because I made those changes on the desktop and they've already synced to Lightroom Mobile. This is always talking to Lightroom Mobile as long as I have a connection. I'm going to talk about if you don't have a connection in just a minute. In the upper right hand corner, there's a share button. Hang on, let me show you one more thing real quick. So that you can see my touches. Let me turn my touches on. Show touches. There we go. So now you see a red dot everywhere I'm touching. And that's a feature of some of the mobile apps, like Lightroom. So if I scroll down, go back to travel, the share button in the upper right hand corner at the very bottom has a present option. When I tap on present, what this does is it disables temporarily all the stuff that you don't want someone tapping on if you hand them your phone and say, hey, look at my travel pictures. So all they basically do is they see the collection, they tap on it, and now they don't get the option to mark as a pic, mark as a reject, edit the image, change it to black and white. They don't get all those options. They basically just get the ability to swipe through your images. They can make it larger. They can pinch and zoom. They can move it around. They can see the camel there. They can do all of the things that they would normally do. They can go landscape, horizontal, but they don't get the option to mark picks, rejects, or accidentally do bad things. So I love the present option. And this is why I love Lightroom Mobile for my portfolio overall. Because with 1 or 2 collections, I get to update my phone, my tablet, my website, my social media presence, everywhere else, and it always stays in sync. So Portfolio is awesome. It's a great addition. Updating Portfolio is very easy to do. But if you're a photographer in particular, you've got more options to pick from. You've got different ways to think about it. So I don't really care which way you use. Portfolio is awesome. Use that. Lightroom's awesome. Use that. Use them both together. Use Muse. Use whatever way you want to use them. But I'm trying to just expose you to your choices today and your various options that you can use. Now, what if I didn't have a connection? What if I'm riding on a plane and we don't have Wi-Fi, or I don't want to use the Wi-Fi for this, and I just want to say, hey, look at my portfolio. Let me get out of the present mode. Let me go back. Let me go back one more time to the list of collections. You notice how the production shot faves, here, let me point to it. You notice here, let me scroll up a little bit more. You notice how travel, throwback, portraits, nature, so forth and so on, they all have this little cloud download button, but production shot faves doesn't have that. That icon means that I have turned on a feature in Lightroom Mobile on this device called offline editing. What that simply means is that once I turn that on and it downloads the smart previews, they stay on the phone. So even if I don't have a Wi-Fi connection or don't have a 4G connection, when I want to show someone my portfolio, I don't have to worry about, oh no, is every image going to load because it only caches so many images. I'm telling Lightroom to always cache these images. So for that portfolio shot, or production shot faves, I would tap the little menu icon and I would say enable offline editing. This option right here. So when I say enable offline editing, I'm saying, yeah, I want to use up 24 megabytes on my phone to store those smart previews so I don't need a connection to ever show them, ever edit them, ever work with them. If I have a connection, great. If I don't have one, it'll keep doing it. It'll keep working. So you notice I can get in a progress bar now because it's actually downloading those smart previews to my device so that they're cached on my device and they stay on my device. Now, when you do, the next time you do have a connection, it will look to see, hey, did anything get updated? Did you add a new photo to the collection? If you did, I'll download that one too. I'll download the cache of that one. So it keeps an offline version of those collections available to you at all times. Now, if I want the same thing on the iPad, I'd have to do it on the iPad as well. So it's device by device. If I want it on an Android phone, I have to do it the same thing on an Android phone. All right, let me check for questions real quick. Alrighty. So up in 30 minutes, we have Molten Ink, Adobe Kush, and Danielle doing more Marvel adventures, which is awesome. Stick around. Let me see if we have more questions. Lots of friendly banter back and forth. No Wi-Fi on the plane, the Molten Ink story. Luckily, I fly Delta 99.9% of the time, and I have Wi-Fi, but I had to use that example since it's not global yet. Everyone doesn't have it yet. All right, someone asked earlier, I missed that. Since you uploaded the high-res images, are they right-clickable? I think I showed where I disabled the right-clickable part. Yep. Okay. Someone already answered. You have the option to disable it in your site settings. You have the option to disable it. Someone already addressed that. Okay. Looks like I'm caught up on questions. If I missed something, let me know. But anyway, so with Lightroom being the hub, everything goes there first, divvied out into collections the way I want them, shown, seen, viewed, whatever. And then I can pick and choose what method I want to share them or look at them or put them on a portfolio. So I highly encourage you, if you're a Creative Cloud member, you already have access to this, to take advantage of Lightroom and specifically Lightroom Mobile, because as you see, everything we do can pull from it. Whether it's one of the mobile apps, whether it's the new portfolio, whether it's Adobe Slate or Adobe Voice, they can all pull from these images. So if you just put if you just put all your images in that one place or those multiple collections, then you have access to them everywhere, no matter what you're going to do creatively from that point on. So it's great to be able to have that. All right, so that's why I like to do it from my phone, because then my phone becomes a updated living portfolio, and my tablet becomes an updated living portfolio that I can say, hey, in person, check out my portfolio, here it is. And they can swipe through and we can talk about the images. Online, whether I'm using Adobe Portfolio or Adobe Muse with custom collections, I have access to those images. So I've got access to those images just about everywhere. All right. There was one more thing I was going to show here, and I've already forgotten what it was. It'll come to me in a minute, but in the meantime, let's talk about making a change now to an image. Let's say, let's make a visual change to one of these. Just trying to figure out which one I want to do it to. Let's do it to... Let's do it to Coit Tower. All right, Coit Tower. We'll go into the Develop module. And once we're here in the Develop module, I have different black and white looks I can play with. Let's use look number 5. And now we've converted that to a black and white. Now, busy behind the scenes, Lightroom Mobile is syncing this collection with that updated metadata, so that image is getting made. Now, if I scroll down to the web version of that, I'm already in the web version of that portfolio. If I scroll up to the other version of that portfolio, it should be the same image because it's the same image. It doesn't matter which portfolio it's in. I could also see the little sync icons going there. That should probably only take a second more. So syncing one photo shouldn't take that long. It's a simple change. And then once that sync has happened, it would be on my phone, it would be on my iPad, it would be on my website once I hit the publish button, it would be everywhere it needs to be. So it's done. So if I bring back up the phone and go to travel, and which one was that? That was the Coit Tower. Okay, looks like it hasn't refreshed yet. But there it is. The icon hadn't refreshed. So if I tap on it, there's a black and white. If I go back, the icon is updated now. So that image got updated and it's now on my phone. And of course now it's been automatically cached. So if I disconnect from the internet, and that image is already there. I don't have to worry about will it update or will it show next time. If I now go to my website version of that portfolio. So that was travel. And I hit publish. Updating published collections. So now it's syncing a new version of that to my website. We'll let it finish. There it is. It finished. We'll go back to my website, which was right here, and we'll look at Coit Tower. We'll refresh the page. And there it is in black and white on my website. Now, the difference is if I wanted to update Portfolio now, I'd have to go back to Portfolio. I'd have to click on Travel. I'd have to edit the content. I'd have to scroll down and find that image. There it is. I'd have to delete it. I'd have to then go pull it back in from Lightroom Mobile. Which luckily, Lightroom Mobile will keep it in sync. We just got to go find it. There it is. Import it. It puts it in, and then reorder, because it's always going to put it in at the end. And I don't remember if it was first, second, or third in San Francisco, but there it is. Save new order. Update project. Return home. Update live site to make it push it out to the internet. View my portfolio just to see it. Go to my travel portfolio. Scroll down and just check to make sure it's there, which I don't doubt that it will be. And there it is. So that's the difference. Was that rocket science? No. Very easy to think about and do, but many more steps, because until we get someday, hopefully, and again, I'm not promising this feature because I haven't even talked to the portfolio team about it, but until we get actual syncing of collections in Portfolio, Portfolio for me is always going to be those few extra steps that I would have to do if I ever change something about my portfolio, that I have to go make those changes. So until we get a sync that happens dynamically, automatically, or at the click of a button, I'm probably going to prefer one of my other ways to do it, which still uses Lightroom, still uses Adobe technology, but pushes it out to my website easier for me as a photographer. Now, if my portfolio doesn't update or change that often, this is awesome. If I only had to do this once in a while, not a big deal. But if I'm having to do this on a regular basis, then there are faster ways to do it. That's all I'm saying. All right, so let's see what questions we got here so far. All right. All right, looks like no extra questions. All right, moving along. And of course, I'm now going to go switch that back. I'm not going to update. I'm not going to waste your time updating it here, but you get the idea. So we're going to go back and develop history. And we're just going to go back in time and say, before I did that, let's go back to this look of it. All right, simple as that. And all I'd have to do now is just hit publish. And my website's being updated. So I'm not going to worry about updating the Adobe Portfolio one, because you've already seen the process. Okay. Got about 11 minutes left. Let's see what we can get into for 11 minutes. I'm kind of done talking about portfolio. Oh, well, I'll give you some portfolio tips in general when it comes to your portfolio, because people are new photographers are usually asking me these kinds of questions. You'll notice that, with the exception of a couple, most of my portfolios, especially on my the ones on my website, let's go back down to those. Most of my portfolios that are published on the internet are 25 images or less. There's one or two exceptions, but most of them are 25 or less. And it used to be when I first started 20, and then it was 24, and then I went to 25 because 25 fit the number of icons on the page. And people are always asking me, well, why 24 or why 25? Why a limit at all? And because obviously the page is not limited. I can have 100 images on there. I don't have to stick to a specific number. But when you force yourself to stick to a specific number, what you're doing is you're challenging yourself to always make your portfolio better. Because we're not talking about just a gallery of images. We're talking about what you're showing as your best work. And I learned this lesson the hard way when I first started, because I kept wanting to put in more and more images. I was emotionally attached to some of the images, and I never wanted to delete them, but I wanted to put in some new ones. And so my portfolios were growing to 40, 50, 60 images per category. And a good friend of mine, good photographer friend of mine, kept trying to beat it in my head. No, take it down to 20. No, take it down to 20, because back then that was the number we were using. And I said, no, but I don't want to delete this one. I don't want to delete that one. I don't want, anyway, we went back and forth. And finally, I gave in. I just finally got tired of hearing it, and I gave in. And ever since then, I just felt better about my work, because what you're saying by keeping a number, whatever your number happens to be, let's say 25. If I want to go put a new image in fashion, let's go back to fashion for a minute. If I want to put a new image in fashion, you know what has to happen? One of these has to go. If I want to put 2 new images in, 2 of these have to go. Because what that's forcing me to decide is, let's say 1, is the new image I'm trying to put in better than one of these? If yes, great, it goes in, but then I need to take the weakest one of these out. And that way your portfolio always gets better, as opposed to just staying either stagnant or just a million images that you have, that some are great and some are just okay and some are, less than okay. And my photographer friend was absolutely right, because it forced me to think about my work that I was putting in and asking that question every single time. Is this better than these? If so, great, put it in. Then which one of these comes out? If I want to put in 2 new ones, then 2 of these have to come out. And when you detach the emotional attachment you have to the location you were in, or the person you were photographing, or whatever, oh, we had a great day, it was a great shoot, whatever, or I don't want this person to be offended if I take them out of my portfolio. When you detach from that, then you're actually showing your best work. It's not a personal thing. It's not I really like this person, I need to keep them in my portfolio. It's about the quality of the image. Is this image really better than this image? Look at it from a photographer standpoint and ask yourself that. So whatever you shoot, landscapes, food, fashion, portraits, whatever it is, decide on a number and say, you know what? I'm going to keep my portfolio to this number. If I want to put in new images, because I just did some new shoots, great. Are they better than the ones that are already in there? Because that's what you're asking yourself. Is this, we used to say, is this port worthy? Is this portfolio worthy? Is this image that I'm just adding better than the images that I put in earlier? And if so, great, it goes in, but then something has to come out. And then that's when you try to make your choice as what's the weakest image. Now, sometimes you might even want to put yourself out there and say, okay, guys, I can't decide which one comes out. You decide. And you know what? Everyone's going to pick something different because everyone has their own taste. They're going to say, oh, I don't like this one, or I don't like that one. So if you're going to ask others their opinion on what should go in or what should come out of your portfolio, remember to keep it to the opinions that you trust or admire. So I probably would never just make it a random thing and say, hey guys, which one of these should I take out? Because I'm going to get 50 million opinions that don't matter to me. If I'm asking that question because I can't decide, then I'm going to ask it from someone's opinion that I respect, someone I'm trying to aspire to be as good as. And I've done that before. Like one of my favorite photographers is Joe McNally. And Joe and I were in a van one day. We were going to a location to do a shoot. And I kind of, oh God, here we go. I handed him my phone and I said, can you look through these and let me know what you think? And I'm like bracing myself because I'm expecting him to say, yeah, none of these are good. Delete them all. And he was very, very complimentary. He said the work, this was way back, this was years ago. He said, it works really good. I would probably take this one and this one out. And immediately, I didn't think twice about it. Joe says those go, they go. Because that was someone's opinion, I respect it. If it was just some stranger on the internet, I probably wouldn't care. But if I'm asking, then I'm asking because I really want that person's opinion. So keep that in mind when you ask for opinions. All right. Yes, less and more, quality, not quantity. What's the link to your My Portfolio site? I think I changed it to terrywhite.myportfolio. Let's put it in to make sure. Yep, I changed it. So let's put this in. We'll put it in the chat so you guys have it. Oh, and I didn't copy it all. Sorry about that. Hang on. I just noticed. Well, here, let's go home and do it the right way. Ignore that thing I just pasted in because it's wrong. And let's go. Can I get home? Is there actually a home button? Let's do it this way. All right, there we go. We'll paste it in. Hold on, here we go. Pasting it in the chat. There you go. Now you have it actually as a clickable link. But I hope that makes sense about portfolios in general. No matter whether it's design, photography, art, whatever, pick a number, stick to the number. Whatever goes in means something comes out once you reach that total number. So some of my portfolios don't even have 25 yet because I didn't feel passionate enough about 25 images in that category that I've done yet. So, some of them I only have like 17 because I don't have 25 great images in that category to put in yet. All right. Okay, and we're going to have the trio up next doing Marvel stuff. I've got like 2 minutes left. It's been, so let's do our quick recap for those of you who came in late or are waiting for the next stream. Last but not least, my name is Terry White, worldwide design and photography evangelist for Adobe. It's been my pleasure telling you about portfolios in general, but really spending some time with the new Adobe Portfolio feature for Creative Cloud members. If you head to, let me see if this URL works. If you head to myportfolio.com, that's how you can get started. That is the URL that will take you there where you can start building your own portfolio as a Creative Cloud member. You can pull in images from anywhere, but as a photographer, you can even pull them in from Lightroom Mobile. You can start with any one of the templates. You can customize the template. You can add your social media links, add different pages, add links to external site. You can do all of that. And best of all, it's already included in your membership, so you can just begin using it. It's responsive, so it's great for mobile devices or different screens. And it's awesome. It's great. It's there. Use it. Try it. And with that said, my next stream will be next Tuesday. I'm missing this Friday because I got a conference or a seminar I got to go to. But I look forward to seeing you guys next Tuesday, same time, same channel at twitch.tv/Adobe, where I don't know what I'll be doing next Tuesday, but it'll be something Lightroom and Photoshop related. And of course, you guys can always tweet me at Terry L. White. And if you got other things you'd like to see on this show, just let me know. With that said, my time's up. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. And I'm going to hand the stream over to Molten Ink, Kush, and I think it was Danielle. They're going to show you some cool Marvel things. If you're watching a replay, thanks for watching.